6 follow-up items from previous regional council meetings. Excuse me, page 3. I'll hand it over to the Chief Executive. Thanks, George. We'll see you guys again. Thanks, Annie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. These 3 items, 2 of them, the responses to those, the first around the 5-yearly summary report and the detail of heavy metals increasing in the Ahari estuary, has been covered by Mr. Maxwell in an email of the 21st of April, and Ms. Codlin sent an email to councillors on the 7th of April setting out a copy of council's submission to the Hastings District Council District Plan Review. The third item is around options to allow members attendance at meetings via video link, and Ms. Hooper will be doing a paper to that, or we'll collectively be doing that, on to the June Corporate and Strategic Committee for consideration.
Thank you. Questions. Any questions? Someone happy to move? Happy to move, Councillor Pipe. We have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Belford. Speakers. Seems very clear cut. I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Thank you. Minor items not on the agenda.
Before you, I have a question on the Information Act request.
Yep. Sorry, what was that? Didn't hear that, sorry?
Well, it should have been part of. Yeah, but go on. Let's go. It should have been part of that item. But you have a question on the Lagoima request.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I have an interest in 2 of these requests in particular, the Paula Fern and Meg Rose. By my count, 20 working days, even accounting for Easter and Anzac Day and so forth, is today. I'm just wondering how soon these are going to be responded to, because I was astonished to find that 80% of the public, from our chairman, that 80% of the public was ready to get on with the
They'll be responded to today, Councillor.
They'll be responded to today.
Will they?
I should have said a huge majority, actually, not 80%.
Oh my God, it's really swinging the tide here, isn't it?
Right. Minor items. I have one. Clarity on councillor involvement in consents. Clarity on councillor involvement in consents. Yep. Other minor items. Councillor Belford.
Water bottling.
Bottling. Oh, sorry.
Board of Inquiry draft decision.
Okay. I think we're there. Thank you. Okay, let's move on then to a decision item affixing the common seal on page 13. Now, Mr. Drury's on leave, isn't he? So
he is. So yes, Mr. Chairman. Look, there's, as you can see there, there's 4 leasehold land sales and 1 staff warrant to a new member of Mike Adie's asset management team. So happy to take any questions.
Someone happy to move? Happy to move, Councillor Scott. Move a seconder in the form of, thank you, Councillor Bevan. Put that motion by the looks of that. Or do you wish to speak?
Just a comment. The level of land sales has never been greater, other than those short bursts when we've done a discount, at any stage since I've been on council. I do find the continuing numbers that are coming through are really quite amazing. But we are actually still not touching the cross leases from the question that I raised previously. So,
No further speakers. Put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Recommendations from the Corporate and Strategic Committee. Chairman Hewitt, are you happy to take us through that?
Okay. The Corporate and Strategic Committee met on the 22nd of April 2015, we had a rather light agenda. We went through the draft statement of intent for our investment company. We also went through the Hawke's Bay LAS draft statement of intent, which is the shared service group that we're represented on by our chief executive. We discussed the Hawke's Bay sports facilities plan, which loosely was a stock take of all of the sporting facilities in the region and an agreement to be working collaboratively with all parties. And we also received a public transport update.
Okay, any particular questions in relation to this item?
Prepared to move then?
You happy to move, happy to second. Okay, you wish to speak further?
No.
Speakers, put the motion, then all those in favour please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Okay, local governance statement 2015 update, number 17. Then over to our chief executive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is an annual refresh, if you like, of the local governance statement, which is all councillors are required to have, and you adopted the 2014 version not long after the local body elections early last year. The main changes are really, as I said, it is an update, and the main changes reflect decisions that have been made throughout the year in relation to the governance structure of the council. So we've included the Clifton to Tongoia Coastal Hazard Strategy Joint Committee, as well as the Finance, Audit and Risk Subcommittee. So those are the two key changes or key additions there. There's also council significance and engagement policy, which was adopted in about November of last year, has also now been included in the governance statement. There have been some minor wording and grammatical changes, and there's also been some other dates, for example, and general references. Those are highlighted in yellow. The sections or the particular statements are highlighted in yellow to make it easier for you to find. I've got no other comment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Right. Well, any questions in regard to that, Councillor Scott?
3 questions of one addition I think is necessary and a couple of corrections. One is on page 27. I know it's still only a bill and it's only in its second read or waiting its second reading before Parliament, but I do think that the Hawke's Bay Regional Planning Committee bill should be referred to.
Just a question, why was that not? Because it's not complete?
Because it's not been
I think
legislation
the
yet.
status could actually just be, yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
We could put pending
Yeah.
legislation, or we'll certainly make it clear that at the time of you've adopted this, it's not legislation.
Thank you. And the corrections, Mr. Chairman, are on page 35. As this is a up-to-date governance statement, Councillor Belford is no longer on the Maori committee. That's halfway down the page under Maori committee.
Oh, yep.
And if we come over to page 44, it does actually take from the terms of reference of previous times when there were only 3, and I think the current terms of reference are up to 4, aren't they?
They are, yes. At the bottom of the page, yes. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions in regard to this? Councillor Barker.
Just a clarification, my memory's a bit lapsed me on this one, and it's on the Finance, Audit and Risk Subcommittee. I went looking for the minutes and couldn't find them late last night and gave up. We made the decision, I couldn't quite remember the month. But did we agree in that resolution to appoint 1 independent member in the resolution? And if we did, could I have the month that the minutes were done?
We did. What month was that?
February, January or February, but yeah.
I just want to be.
Check
February, was it? We set up the Audit Risk Committee.
We'll find that.
Just want to be clear on that. I don't recall that bit off the top of my head, and I was just looking to find confirmation we did. I may have overseen it, but I just like to check that in fact is correct.
Yep. Thank you. Any other questions in regard to this? It's pretty well laid out, I would have thought. Questions? Couple of minor tweaks there. Has anyone then, or is anyone then prepared to move the recommendation? If we're at that place. You're happy to move, Councillor Pipe? We have a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Scott. You wish to speak? Okay. Speakers? Put the motion then. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking that. Thank you. I just wondering if we go to item 13 now and then break for morning tea to give the transport folk a good solid run at excuse me, items 11 and 12. So we could go to 13 on page 61. So I'll hand that over.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the Maori Committee meeting last Tuesday, Councillor Belford tendered his resignation from that committee. So this paper has been prepared to deal with the issue of a replacement councillor to represent council on the committee meeting, as Councillor Scott has sort of pointed out in the governance statement, up until 2013, there was 3 councillors on the committee, and in recognition of the interest that was shown at the time that appointments are being made to the committee, the terms of reference were changed to allow for up to 4. So really, this paper provides you with the opportunity to discuss whether or not you wish to return to having 3 or have up to 4. So I've split the recommendation. So obviously, if you resolve not to appoint a councillor to fill the current vacancy, then you don't need to proceed to number 2 either. But if you do decide to retain up to 4, then you need to. Well, it's recommended that you make the appointment today.
So just for clarity, up to 4. We don't have to change any terms of reference.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
You can just resolve not to fill the vacancy today.
Well, I hear a rather loud clamouring of folk wanting to become part of it, or maybe not. Any other thoughts, questions? Councillor Scott.
I'd like to ask a question. 3 has been the number that's always been there ever since the committee was. It was increased to 4 because there was one extra person who wished to go on that committee, and no longer wishes to be on that committee. But the whole role of the members on this committee is to listen and learn and reflect that back to council. So I really would ask, is it necessary to fill it? It has been stated that the absence of other councillors, but there is always the ability to appoint an alternative, and on most occasions that has happened. So perhaps it would be helpful to hear from Mr. Maori whether he, what he feels would be the best way forward on this.
I had a chat to Mr. Maori this morning. I don't want to speak on his behalf. He's certainly welcome to speak, but he felt it was really a council issue. But do you wish to add anything to that?
No, there's just, from the positive point of view, there's one extra lunch to get rid of.
Councillor Pipe.
Councillor Scott is often at that meeting, and is often, if one of the other members can't make it, is often the alternative. So would it be, is she quite happy to retain that position just as being there attending and be there as an alternative, or, if needs be, or would she prefer to be a member of the committee? I'm quite comfortable either way.
Well, I think we've had our answer from her, but do you wish to be clarity on that? You're not. There's no necessity for you to become an official member. So I think we've got our answer, haven't we? Someone happy to take us back to recommendation 1, then on that basis, unless others wish to have a view? Councillor Dick, you're happy with 3?
I am, but there's no, there's a very significant gender imbalance, isn't there?
Doesn't seem to be troubling the chairman sitting there. Can someone take us to the recommendation? Let's move on with this.
All right, look,
Just one other question. If the position is not filled, I just would like some clarity around whether, I know the terms of reference say up to, but I'd be quite happy to see the terms go back to what they were originally, which is 3 members. But I'm just asking whether we need to go that far before we get to a resolution, because
Be a challenge for an incoming council. It's probably one of our recommendations as this council exit and whatever timing that might be, and that the incoming council can deal with that. So that would be the simplest way to deal with it.
okay.
For considering the magnitude or lack of magnitude of the issue at hand. Councillor Pipe, you had a recommendation for it.
yeah, look, I'll recommend number 1, which is just resolves, which basically, well, hang on, what is it? Which resolves not to appoint a
Resolves not to appoint a fourth member.
a 4th member to the committee. So we remain.
And we have a seconder for that. Do we have a second? We have a seconder, Councillor Bevan. Any further discussion?
I'd like to speak to Mr.
You'd like to
Chairman,
speak, sure.
and I think that this committee, the Maori committee, is an extremely important committee. I spent 2 terms on it, 6 years on that committee, and never missed a single meeting. Since that time, as Mr. Mohi well knows, I have attended practically every meeting and will continue to do so because I go to be informed. And it is a very important committee in that it is their agenda and it is their haki that they bring for us to hear, and our role on that committee has always been to learn and reflect their wishes back to council. So I will continue to support that committee by being available whenever I'm needed, but also just being there as an observer, just to continue to be informed by their views.
Thank you. Further speakers? Put the motion, then all those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Let's break for, we're a little early, but let's break for 10 minutes and we'll resume on item, excuse me, 11, the proposed regional land transport plan, 15 to 25. And I see Ms. Redgrave's here. Good. Okay, let's break for 10 minutes.